If you want results fast, this is your video. These are the 10 fastest growing vegetables for Zone 9. The ones that actually deliver harvests in a matter of weeks, not months. In Florida and the rest of Zone 9, we've got one major advantage: time. Our growing season runs nearly year-round, which means we can keep planting while northern gardeners are shoveling snow. But sometimes you don't want to wait months for a payoff. You want to see green shoots coming up fast, and you want to eat them even faster. Today, we're counting down the 10 fastest growing vegetables for Zone 9. Every crop on this list can go from seed to harvest in under 2 months, and several are ready in half that time. Most can handle raised bed conditions beautifully, including those cream-colored Vigo garden beds that make the whole process cleaner, easier, and a lot more productive. Whether you're looking to fill gaps between bigger crops, restock a bed after your summer heat wave wipeout, or just get that instant gratification of harvesting your own food, these quick growers are perfect. They're beginner-friendly, forgiving, and thrive in our sandy soil and fluctuating Florida weather. We'll start with a crop that's practically a sprinter in the vegetable world, one that you can plant today and eat before the month is even over. 1. Radishes. When you want fast results in Zone 9, nothing beats radishes. These little roots are the undisputed champions of quick harvests, often ready to pull just 3 weeks after planting. That means if you tuck seeds into your raised bed on the first of the month, you could be slicing them into salads before the month is even over. Radishes love the kind of mild weather Florida gets from fall through early spring. They'll germinate in just a few days when the soil is between 60 and 70 degrees. You can direct seed them right where they'll grow, no transplanting needed. Scatter seeds about 1 inch apart. Cover lightly with soil and water gently. In warm Zone 9 soil, they'll be up almost before you've put the watering can away. The trick to beautiful radishes is consistent moisture and steady spacing. If the bed dries out, the roots can get woody or split. If they're too crowded, they'll stay tiny. A quick thin out after germination helps each plant form a plump, round root. Use that rich compost or potting mix you'd use for lettuce. Nothing heavy or clay-like. The fun part: you can grow them nearly any time except during the peak of summer. Once the soil starts hitting the high 80s, radishes struggle and bolt before forming good roots. But from late September through early May, you can have continuous harvests. And don't forget about the variety choices. Cherry Belle and French Breakfast are classics that mature lightning fast, while Easter Egg blends add color and variety to your harvest bowl. The leafy tops are edible too, with a peppery flavor that works well in stir fries or as microgreens. Because they're so fast, radishes are perfect fillers between longer-term crops like carrots or onions. Plant a short row along the edge of a raised bed, and you'll harvest them just as your slower growers are spreading out. In a Zone 9 garden, radishes are more than just a quick snack. They're a confidence booster. You plant them, water them, and see results almost instantly. For new gardeners, it's one of the most satisfying crops to grow. Next up, we'll move from roots to greens with another lightning-fast harvest that keeps giving for weeks instead of days. 2. Green onions, scallions. If you want a crop that delivers flavor fast and keeps on giving, green onions are a Zone 9 essential. They're quick to sprout, simple to grow, and forgiving even if you miss a watering or two. From seed, they're ready to start trimming in just 4 to 6 weeks, and if you plant sets or starter bulbs, you can start harvesting even sooner. Scallions love Florida's mild seasons. Plant them anytime from early fall through spring, and they'll take off in the slightly cooler weather. They're shallow-rooted, so they do best in loose, well-drained soil, perfect for raised beds, where you can control the mix. Blend in compost or aged manure before planting, and keep the top few inches moist until the shoots appear. Spacing isn't critical with scallions. You can plant them close together in clusters, an inch apart, and snip individual stalks as they mature. The ones you leave behind will keep thickening, giving you multiple harvests from a single patch. For an ongoing supply, reseed every couple of weeks so you'll always have fresh green onions ready to pull. One of the best parts about growing scallions in Zone 9 is how little they complain. They tolerate light frost, shrug off sandy soil, and recover quickly after being trimmed. Even the store-bought ones with a bit of root left on the bottom can be replanted. Just stick them into the soil, keep them watered, and watch them regrow. It's practically gardening magic. You can also grow them in containers if your garden beds are full. A deep window box or small pot of compost-rich mix works fine. Just remember that scallions prefer steady moisture. If the soil dries out completely, the stalks get tough and lose flavor. Harvesting is simple. Snip a few outer stalks and let the rest keep growing, or pull the whole bunch when the stems are about pencil thick. The mild onion flavor is great in salads, stir-fries, and soups, and it's much fresher than anything from the grocery store. For Zone 9 gardeners, green onions are a perfect bridge crop. Quick to mature, long-lasting, and happy to fill gaps between your bigger plantings. Next, we'll move from onion beds to salad beds with one of the fastest leafy greens you can grow: leaf lettuce. 3. Leaf lettuce. When it comes to easy, fast, and productive greens in Zone 9, nothing beats leaf lettuce. Unlike head lettuce, which takes months and exact timing, the loose leaf types grow quickly and let you harvest as you go. In our mild Florida fall and winter, you can start snipping baby leaves in as little as 3 weeks, and full-sized ones in about 5. Lettuce loves cooler weather, so fall through early spring is prime time. Start by loosening your raised bed soil and mixing in compost to keep it light and moist. Lettuce roots are shallow, so they need consistent watering but not soggy conditions. A light daily misting or drip line works well during dry spells. Sprinkle the seeds thinly over the surface and barely cover them. Lettuce needs light to germinate. In Zone 9 warmth, sprouts appear within a few days. Once they reach 2 inches tall, thin them to about 4 inches apart to give each plant room to form a healthy rosette of leaves. Loose leaf varieties like black-seeded Simpson, red sails, and oak leaf do best here. They tolerate the mild winter sun without turning bitter and can handle the short cold snaps that occasionally roll through. The more tropical romaine types can also grow, but they're slower and prefer the cooler end of the season. One advantage of growing lettuce in raised beds is how easy it is to control temperature and moisture. A bit of afternoon shade helps when temperatures creep into the 70s. If you notice the center starting to stretch upward, that's bolting. It's the plant's way of saying the weather's too warm. Just harvest the rest quickly before the flavor changes. Lettuce lends itself perfectly to cut and come again harvesting. Instead of pulling the whole plant, trim the outer leaves with scissors, leaving the center intact. It'll keep producing fresh leaves for weeks. To keep a constant supply, sow new seeds every couple of weeks. You can even grow lettuce in containers or shallow trays if space is tight. It doesn't need much depth, just rich soil and steady moisture. Leaf lettuce is the ultimate fast food for gardeners. Crisp, colorful, and endlessly versatile, it gives you the satisfaction of daily harvests with hardly any waiting. Up next, a cool weather green, that's every bit as fast but packs even more nutrition. Spinach. 4. Spinach might just be the ultimate Zone 9 cool season green. It grows fast, tolerates light frost, and can handle Florida's unpredictable winter weather better than most greens. From seed, baby leaves are ready in 3 to 4 weeks, and full-size ones by 6. That makes it one of the quickest and most nutrient-dense crops you can grow in a raised bed. Start by planting when daytime highs are in the 60s or low 70s, typically from late October through early March. Spinach hates hot soil, so wait until summer's heat truly breaks before sowing. In Zone 9, it'll thrive all winter long. Choose a sunny to partly shaded spot with rich, well-drained soil and mix in compost to hold moisture. Sow seeds about ½ an inch deep and 2 inches apart. Keep the surface evenly damp while they germinate. Spinach seeds can take up to 10 days to sprout. Once the seedlings have a few true leaves, thin them to about 4 inches apart for baby leaves or 6 inches for larger plants. Because spinach has shallow roots, steady watering is key. Dry soil causes it to bolt early, while soggy soil invites rot. A raised bed helps balance moisture and drainage perfectly. Give it a light feeding of compost tea or fish emulsion once the plants are established, and they'll respond with lush, dark green leaves packed with iron and vitamins. There are 2 main types, smoothleaf and Savoy. Smoothleaf varieties are easier to wash after a rain, while Savoy types, like Bloomsdale, have crinkled, tender leaves and excellent cold tolerance. For Zone 9, either type works. Just avoid planting once daytime highs start pushing into the 80s. You can harvest baby spinach by snipping outer leaves with scissors, letting the center keep producing. With this method, one planting can feed you for a month or more. Or, if you'd rather replant fresh, pull the entire plant once it reaches your preferred size. Spinach also grows well in containers, especially in cooler patios or porches, where it gets morning sun and afternoon shade. Fast, forgiving, and nutrient-dense, spinach is one of those greens that proves quick harvests don't have to mean light nutrition. Next, we'll shift gears from leafy greens to something that sprouts, flowers, and fills your dinner plate fast. Bush beans. 5. Bush beans. If you want to see a plant go from seed to dinner plate in record time, bush beans are hard to beat. In Zone 9's warm soil, they germinate fast, grow vigorously, and start producing pods in just 40 to 50 days. Once they get going, they'll keep producing for several weeks, enough for repeated harvests before the plants wind down. Bush beans are short, sturdy plants that don't need stakes or trellises. That makes them perfect for raised beds, where space is tight and simplicity is key. They love full sun and well-drained soils rich in organic matter. Mix compost into the bed first, then sow the seeds about 1 inch deep and 3 inches apart. Keep the rows roughly a foot apart for easy picking. Because beans fix nitrogen naturally, they help enrich the soil for the crops that follow. That means you can grow them in succession with heavier feeders like tomatoes or squash to balance the nutrient cycle in your garden. Water evenly, but avoid soaking the leaves. Beans prefer moisture at the roots. Once the plants begin to flower, cut back on watering just a bit to prevent rot and encourage pod formation. In Zone 9, you can grow bush beans in both spring and fall. Plant them after the last frost, or again in late summer for a fall crop that finishes before winter sets in. They don't enjoy cold or soggy conditions, but they'll thrive in the long, warm, shoulder seasons that Florida provides. Good varieties for fast yields include Provider, Contender, and Blue Lake 274. These germinate quickly in warm soil and produce full, tender pods with that classic snap. Pick beans while they're young for the best flavor. Waiting too long makes the pods stringy. The more you harvest, the more the plants will produce. Bush beans fit beautifully into a Zone 9 rotation plan. They grow fast, they feed the soil, and they deliver satisfying harvests without extra support or complicated care. After the plants finish, simply pull them up, work the roots back into the bed, and you're already enriching it for the next crop. Next, we'll move from these compact powerhouses to another warm season sprinter that's famous for outgrowing its space in no time: zucchini. 6. Zucchini. Few vegetables make you feel like a gardening pro faster than zucchini. In Zone 9, it grows so quickly you can practically watch it expand day by day. From seed, you'll be harvesting in as little as 6 weeks, and the plants will keep producing until heat or pests finally slow them down. Zucchini loves warmth, sunlight, and fertile soil. 3 things Florida has in abundance. Direct seed at once nighttime lows stay above 60 degrees. Drop 2 or 3 seeds in each spot about an inch deep and 3 feet apart. Then thin to the strongest seedling. If you're planting in a raised bed, give each plant a generous section to sprawl. These aren't shy growers. Each one can easily fill several square feet once it starts blooming. To keep them happy, feed the soil well before planting with compost or aged manure and water consistently. Zucchini roots spread wide and shallow, so they need steady moisture without getting waterlogged. Raised beds make it easy to strike that balance. A light layer of straw or chopped leaves can help retain moisture, but don't pile it against the stems. Good airflow prevents mildew. In Zone 9, the best planting windows are spring and early fall. Summer heat can stress the plants and invite squash vine borers, so it helps to plant early enough that your main harvest is done before midsummer. If you see the large moths hovering near your vines, wrap a small strip of foil around the lower stem to block their eggs. A simple trick that can save the crop. Once flowering begins, expect rapid growth. Zucchini produces both male and female blossoms, and bees handle pollination naturally. Within days of pollination, the small fruit will swell to full size. For the best texture, harvest when they're 6 to 8 inches long. Leave them too long and you'll end up with baseball bats instead of tender squash. Varieties like Black Beauty, Gold Rush, and 8-Ball all perform beautifully in Zone 9's long, warm season. Even a single plant can produce more than enough for a family's needs. Zucchini is the kind of crop that turns beginners into confident gardeners, fast, generous, and satisfying from start to finish. Next, we'll move back to the salad bed for a green that grows almost as fast as radishes but adds a peppery kick. Arugula. 7. Arugula. If you want to harvest fresh salad greens in record time, arugula is the garden's overachiever. It germinates fast, grows fast, and rewards you with harvests in as little as 3 to 4 weeks. In Zone 9, it thrives from fall through early spring when temperatures are mild. But it's tough enough to push through short warm spells without quitting. Arugula, sometimes called rocket, loves cool, sunny days and cool nights. Exactly what Florida gets through winter. You can direct seed it right into your raised beds or containers. Scatter the seeds lightly over loose, compost-rich soil and barely cover them with a thin layer of mix. Keep the surface evenly moist, and you'll see sprouts in 3 to 5 days. This crop grows best in full sun during the cooler months or with partial afternoon shade if it's still warm. Give plants about 4 inches of space so they can spread without shading each other. Because arugula grows so quickly, you can reseed every few weeks for a continuous supply. Water regularly to keep the flavor mild. dry soil and high heat make the leaves spicier, which some gardeners love, but others find overpowering. A steady moisture level produces tender, balanced leaves. You can start harvesting baby greens when they're just 3 inches tall by snipping the outer leaves and letting the center keep growing. There are 2 main types: standard arugula with broad leaves and wild arugula, which has smaller, deeply lobed foliage and an even stronger flavor. Both grow beautifully in Zone 9 raised beds, and both will bolt once temperatures climb into the mid-80s. When that happens, let a few plants flower. The white blooms attract pollinators, and the seed pods can be collected for your next round. Arugula's peppery flavor livens up salads, sandwiches, and pasta dishes, and it's excellent sautéed lightly with olive oil and garlic. Because it grows so fast, it's a fantastic bridge crop between slower growers like beets or onions. In a Zone 9 garden, arugula proves you don't need patience to eat well. It's the ultimate instant gratification green, easy, forgiving, and delicious no matter how you use it. Next up, we'll move from delicate leaves to vigorous vines with another speedy producer: cucumbers. 8. Cucumbers are the definition of instant summer. In Zone 9's long, warm, growing season, they germinate quickly, climb fast, and start producing crisp fruit in as little as 45 to 50 days. Once they start, you'll have a steady stream of cucumbers every few days until the vines finally tire out. They thrive when daytime highs sit between 70 and 85 degrees, so spring and early fall are your prime planting windows. Direct seed them right into your raised bed once the soil has warmed up. Sow seeds an inch deep, spaced about a foot apart, or 2 feet if you're letting them sprawl across the soil. If you'd rather save space, give them a trellis. Vertical growing keeps the fruit cleaner, improves airflow, and makes harvesting easier. Cucumbers love rich, well-drained soil loaded with compost. They're heavy feeders, so start with fertile ground and give them a light boost of organic fertilizer every couple of weeks. Keep the moisture steady. Cucumbers wilt easily in Florida sun, and irregular watering can make the fruit bitter or oddly shaped. Compact, fast-maturing varieties like Marketmore 76, Space Master, and Bush Champion perform especially well in Zone 9. These shorter vines are perfect for raised beds, producing abundant fruit without overtaking the garden. For slicing types, pick them when they're 6 to 8 inches long. For pickling varieties, 3 to 4 inches is ideal. The more you harvest, the more new fruit the plants will produce. Cucumbers will slow down when the nights stay hot and humid, but early planting helps you stay ahead of pest pressure from aphids and cucumber beetles. If insects show up, a gentle spray of neem oil in the evening can help keep them under control. For gardeners who love speed and volume, cucumbers are hard to top. They give you a sense of progress almost daily. From the moment the vines start grabbing the trellis to the first harvest that feels like summer in your hand. In Zone 9, they're a perfect fit between your cool season greens and your heat-tolerant crops, bridging the seasons with a flood of fast, refreshing harvests. Next, we'll dig a little deeper, literally, with a root crop that's both quick and surprisingly flexible when harvested young. Baby carrots. 9. Baby carrots. Carrots usually get a reputation for being slow, but in Zone 9, you can flip that story by growing them small. Baby carrots mature in as little as 5 to 6 weeks, giving you tender, sweet roots long before the big ones are ready. The trick is choosing fast varieties, sowing in loose soil, and harvesting young. Carrots love the cooler half of the year, so plant them from late fall through early spring. The seeds germinate best when daytime highs are between 60 and 75 degrees. In Florida, that window runs from roughly October through March. Choose a raised bed with deep, fluffy soil. No clumps, no hardpan. Carrots need space to stretch straight down, and raised beds make that easy. Before sowing, work in compost to loosen the mix. Then scatter the tiny seeds thinly and barely cover them. No more than a quarter-inch of soil. Keep the surface consistently moist while they germinate. Carrot seeds take their time, often 10 days or more. But once they sprout, the growth comes quickly. After the seedlings are an inch tall, thin them to about 2 inches apart. That gives each one enough space to form a plump, uniform root. For baby carrots, harvest early when they're about finger-sized. The flavor is at its peak. Leaving them longer just makes them thicker, not sweeter. Fast varieties like Little Finger, Paris Market, and Short and Sweet thrive in Zone 9's sandy soils. They're short enough to handle slightly shallower beds, yet still give you that satisfying crunch. Keep the soil evenly moist throughout their growth. Dry spells can cause splitting, while soggy soil leads to rot. Carrots don't like to be transplanted, so it's best to direct seed them right where they'll grow. You can mix in a few radish seeds to mark the row. Radishes germinate first, breaking up the crust and helping the slower carrot sprouts push through. When harvest time arrives, gently loosen the soil with your hand or a fork and pull them straight up. Wash, chill, and enjoy. Nothing beats that fresh, sweet snap. In a Zone 9 garden, baby carrots are proof that even root crops can be fast. They're compact, flavorful, and fun to grow, perfect for filling in between longer projects. Next, we'll wrap up with a hearty classic that gives you both greens and roots in record time: turnips. 10. Turnips don't get nearly enough love, and that's a shame. Because in Zone 9, they're one of the fastest and most versatile vegetables you can grow. You get 2 harvests from a single plant, tender greens in as little as 3 weeks, and crisp roots in about 6. Few crops offer that kind of speed and double value. Plant turnips in the cooler months, from October through early March. They prefer temperatures between 50 and 75 degrees and grow best in loose, compost-enriched soil. Like most root crops, they need good drainage, so a raised bed gives them the perfect environment. Work in plenty of organic matter to help retain moisture and prevent the roots from becoming woody. Sow the seeds about a quarter-inch deep and an inch apart. Then thin to 4 inches once they've sprouted. Keep the bed evenly moist, not soaked, to encourage smooth roots and tender greens. Germination happens fast, often within 5 days in Florida's mild weather. You can begin harvesting the outer leaves for greens while the roots are still forming. Pick only a few at a time to let the plant continue growing. The young leaves are mild and cook down beautifully, while older leaves take on a stronger, mustard-like flavor. For the roots, start checking around day 40. If you can see the top of the root bulging at the surface, it's ready to pull. Smaller turnips are sweeter. Large ones can get fibrous. Varieties like Hakurai and Purple Top, White Globe do exceptionally well in Zone 9. Hakurai is especially fast and tender, perfect for eating raw or lightly sautéed. Purple Top is the old standby, dependable, flavorful, and ideal for both greens and roots. Because they grow quickly, turnips make an excellent rotation crop. You can plant them after beans or lettuce to keep your beds productive all winter. Once the harvest is done, the leftover foliage breaks down easily and adds organic matter back into the soil. Fast, reliable, and satisfying, turnips round out this list perfectly. In just a few weeks, You'll be cooking with greens and roots you grew yourself. A complete meal from seed to plate. There you have it, 10 of the fastest growing vegetables for Zone 9. Every single one of these can go from seed to harvest in under 2 months, and several in half that time. Whether you're filling an empty raised bed, starting a quick winter garden, or just craving a little instant gratification, these crops deliver results fast. The beauty of gardening in Zone 9 is that you don't have to rush the seasons. With our long growing window and mild winters, you can stagger these quick growers year-round for non-stop harvests. Plant radishes and arugula while the air is cool, switch to beans and zucchini as things warm up, and fill the gaps with fast greens like lettuce and spinach. By the time you circle back to the start, your beds will have produced more food than you thought possible in one season. If you've been holding off on starting a garden because you think it'll take too long to see results, let this be your sign to get planting. A few packets of seed, a sunny spot, and a little water are all you need to get growing. And if you want to make it even easier, those Vigo Garden raised beds I mentioned earlier take all the hassle out of setup and soil management. I'll leave a link down in the description. Check it out and get your garden growing faster. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. We've got plenty more Zone 9 gardening tips, planting guides, and fast-growing favorites on the way, all here on Ground Truth Gardening. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.